Hi, everyone. You know how important it is to get those parents and caregivers to participate in parent training. That results in the best outcomes for all of your learners. I also know that it can be really difficult to get parents and caregivers to participate in parent training for a variety of reasons. One of the things to keep in mind is that we need to make sure that the parents see the value in that parent training. They need to understand that they are one of their child's most important and most valuable resources, and that through parent training, they are going to see the biggest changes in their child's lives. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll use some personal experiences and share that. They have to understand that they don't need to do big, massive interventions, that they don't need to implement a lot of discrete trial training all day, every day in order to be able to see results, but they do need to understand a little bit about behavior and reinforcement so that they can avoid inadvertently reinforcing the wrong behavior. They understand how their child learns best. Those are the key pieces. They don't need to implement a full-blown ABA program. Once parents understand that, then they're more likely to be able to listen to you. It's really important to establish a very positive relationship with each of your parents, and you have to do that in a different way for every parent. Some of them really need an opportunity to be able to vent and talk about some of the challenges that they're facing. Other parents come in and they just want to talk about one specific topic, or they want you to lead the topic. They don't even have an idea of what to talk about in parent training, and they just want you to lead that ship. Keep in mind that during parent training, you're going to encounter a lot of different sensitive subjects. You're asking the parents to change how they parent their child and getting them to accept that some of the ways that they've parented their child in the past aren't as effective or efficient for their child. One of the parents that I used to work with a lot, I really enjoyed her. She started using the phrase, "How is that working for me?" We would talk about a challenge that she encountered with her son, and I would ask how she typically reacts, and then she would say the phrase, "But how is that working for me?" And then she was much more open and ready to listen to my recommendations and how she could change the way that she responded to that behavior, because the way that she was responding currently actually wasn't working for her. So having them establish a specific phrase that acknowledges exactly the challenge that they're looking to overcome themselves, then they're going to be a little bit more open and receptive to what you're saying. Keep in mind that a lot of our parents have their own physical and emotional challenges as well. It's really tough being a parent of a child with disabilities and not knowing what the future is going to hold. But in addition to that, people in general often experience emotional or physical challenges. So when they're facing those, that just compounds the challenges that they're facing with their own child, and you need to be sensitive and aware of those as well. Not every parent is going to be open and tell you about those challenges, so you need to tune in to different signals that they're not understanding what you're asking them to do, or maybe they're just not capable of following through to the level that you would like. That's okay. So you need to approach it all from their level, and with all of these different strategies, you're likely to have much more effective parent training. I do offer a full parent training curriculum, and I'm going to show you a quick glimpse into what that looks like. This is the ABA parent training curriculum that I've created based on the experiences that I've had providing ABA parent training through the years. This course provides access to a bunch of different resources that are helpful for parents. I cover an introduction to parent training. This helps get the parents invested and involved in parent training right from the beginning. I talk about the scope and the structure and what we're going to cover during parent training and what the expectations really are. What is that parent training session really going to look like? Then I cover some basics in the introductions to ABA, as well as a lot of information about behavior reduction, because that's a lot of the reasons parents come in for ABA services. Then I talk about skill acquisition, because teaching those replacement behaviors are important. This essentially covers all of the different things that I'm doing with their learner during therapy and helps them understand what's going on. I don't necessarily go through each lesson in order. Sometimes I jump around based on what's most important to that individual family. However, I have found in the past that this is a structure that tends to work well. Let me jump in and give you an example of what the lessons look like. I'm going to jump down to understanding the functions of challenging behavior, because I think that that's a really key one for parents to understand, that there's a purpose behind the challenging behavior that their child's engaging in. I talk a lot about the different steps that we use to identify why behavior occurs and what maintains that behavior. I often will have parents sit down right next to me and we can read through a lot of the information together. Otherwise, I can download some information and just give them a handout to take home with them as well. This provides me with a lot of examples that I can use right from the start to be able to talk about all of the strategies, all of the functions in layman's terms. I can't use a lot of ABA terminology and jargon, or parents aren't going to understand what I'm saying, and they're certainly not going to think that I value their thoughts and opinions. They're going to just see me as an expert who comes in and talks in a language that they don't understand, and they're not going to see what their role is in this. So there's a lot of information in these lessons, including a lot of different examples. And then there's an assignment for every single lesson, because I think it's important for parents to have something concrete for them to do when it's time for them to go home. So you can download the lesson for the parent to take home and complete. There's very specific instructions. Sometimes I also include data sheets. So this is a fillable PDF that parents can use to collect ABC data. So their job is to collect ABC data based on one of the identified challenging behavior that their learner has demonstrated. And I just send this home. I might email it so that they have the PDF version, or I might just print it for them, send it home, and they can fill it out and bring it to the next parent training session. I've found that a structured parent training curriculum really helps you keep focused and keep on track and moving that parent training forward, so you don't get in the trap of the problem of the week. You're not just discussing all of the different challenges that have occurred that week. You've got a topic that you can talk about, and you can also listen to the parent talk about some of the most recent challenges. This, I have found, is one of the most beneficial ways to conduct parent training and get those parents to buy in. I hope you found this really helpful. Remember to like this video so that others can find it too, and you can check us out on masteraba.com.